Well, hello Commission. I'm Milan Gaur. I'm founder of Cultivate Empathy for All. It's a non-profit local organization. But I'm over here today in front of the Commission to talk about negative impact of animal farming on environment. If we actually look at 2006 UN report, it suggests that animal farming actually generates more greenhouse gas than the entire transportation sector. But if we actually look at the city's report on a climate change plan that was actually released on the 6th December by the city manager, over here we can see there's 60% of the contribution is from the transportation sector, and there is no description about the agriculture or the animal farming. The reason is because the city is looking at the local purpose, the local function, the local activities. But the reality is that we are living in a globally interconnected world. So much that the food that we ate today, the clothes that we are wearing today, aren't produced locally. So then why are we looking at local functions and activities when it comes down to reduce the greenhouse gas? We have to think globally and act locally if we want to overcome the biggest issues that's standing in front of the humankind, like a climate change. And when we take this global perspective, we come to the realization that animal farming is actually generating 18% of the greenhouse gas, and it's bigger than the entire transportation sector. Animal farming accounts for 9% CO2 emission and 37% of methane emission. The methane, that's 30 times more potent in trapping the heat from a sun than a carbon dioxide. The methane's lifespan in atmosphere is 10 years, and when it breaks down into a water molecule and a carbon dioxide. So even after its lifespan, it releases the greenhouse that actually then stays for 100 years. So why are we not actually considering the animal factory farming? So with that, I want to actually make a recommendation to the Commission. Please create 2025 vision in Berkeley to reduce the use of animal products overall in our community. And if we decide to agendize this item for next meeting, which I suppose in February, I'm happy to give a presentation. I didn't have a chance to talk about sustainability or antibiotic resistance that's also associated with animal farming, but I'm happy to actually talk about that if I have given an opportunity. I'll definitely write and follow up email with this, but again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of the Commission. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person.
I'm fully in support of what the person just said. We're here pretty much with the same agenda. I assume everyone's education on the topics of the environmental impact of animal agriculture. And I also think that it's interesting that Berkeley takes into account like impact of local stuff, even though like Berkeley is not an agricultural town in the city. It does imports all the like meat, cheese, all the animal agriculture stuff. I'm fully in support of creating 2025 vision. I'm fully in support of trying to impact anything that we can impact to decrease and possibly eliminate any animal products and wherever we can. Berkeley City Council, to my right, has just banned meat, and we're in support of feeding meals all over the place. That's that. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone behind you who had already raised their hand?
Yes. So my comments come from an article from OneGreenPlanet.org, and we know that the Earth's human population is growing and already numbering over 7 billion people, and projected to reach 9 billion people by 2050. More people means we're going to need more resources to sustain ourselves. Extra food, water, land requirements will be required to meet our basic needs. And people are suffering from hunger. A plant-based diet has been proposed by some as the solution to our food problems. But would a shift to a diet make a difference? Could the Earth sustain 9 billion people living on a plant-based diet? A great number of people today eat a Western diet that's heavy in meat, dairy, and eggs. most people rarely, if ever, stop to consider the resources required to produce their food. The problem is that the standard Western diet is extremely resource intensive. In order to produce animal products, land, water, and energy are required to grow, harvest, transport, and feed that is then fed to the farmed animals. We currently can produce enough calories to feed 10 to 11 billion people worldwide, so we can solve world hunger. However, the majority of this food goes to livestock, not to hungry people. After feed for livestock is produced, additional land, water, and energy resources are required to house and raise the animals, dispose of their waste, and eventually more energy is required to transport these animals to slaughter and process their bodies. To give you an idea of how this all breaks down, it's estimated that people who eat beef use 160 times more land, water, and fuel resources to sustain their diets than their plant-based counterparts. Because we're already struggling to feed our current population, we should be adhering to a diet that minimizes the use of our precious resources. I would say especially in businesses and in government organizations. Not a diet, we should be using a diet that minimizes our precious resources, not a diet that requires astronomical amounts of resources. But do other diets actually minimize resources in a meaningful way? Okay, let's look at the facts. We use 56 million acres of land for animal agriculture, while dedicating only 4 million acres of land to growing produce. A staggering 70% of grain in the U.S. is fed to farmed animals rather than people. The world cattle alone consume food equal to the caloric needs of 8.7 billion people. That's more than the entire human population on Earth. It takes 4,200 gallons of water per day to produce a meat eater's diet. A plant-based diet uses only 300 gallons of water per day. And 70% of our domestic fresh water, which is becoming more of an issue, goes directly to animal agriculture.
Can you finish up in a sentence or two,
Yeah.
please?
All resources taken into account, 1 acre of land can produce 250 pounds of beef. The same acre of land can produce 50,000 pounds of produce.
Thank you.